You see, a lot of people talk about success like it's some secret formula, like it's locked behind a door only a few can open. But the truth is, it's not about talent. It's not about who's smarter or who was born in the right family. It's about who's willing to show up every single day and put in the work when nobody's watching, when nobody's cheering, when nobody even believes in you. That's what separates the average from the extraordinary. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not willing to grind, if you're not willing to stay up late and wake up early, that talent will fade because someone out there is hungrier than you. Someone out there is willing to bleed for it, sweat for it, cry for it. And when that moment comes, when both of you meet in the same room with the same opportunity, talent won't save you. Effort will. Effort always does. See, people think it's the big moves that make the difference. It's not. It's the small, boring, consistent moves every single day. It's what you do when the lights are off and no one's recording. When your body says stop and your heart says keep going. That's where greatness lives. That's where champions are born. You've got to be willing to outwork everyone in the room. Not just sometimes, every time. Because you never know who's watching. You never know when your opportunity will show up. And if you're not ready, if you haven't been grinding while everyone else was chilling, you'll miss it. You'll watch someone else live the dream you were supposed to live. And that's a pain you don't ever want to feel. You've got to treat your goals like oxygen, like you can't live without them. Because that's the level of hunger it takes. You can't coast. You can't rely on what you did last week. Every new day demands a new version of you. The world doesn't owe you anything, and talent alone doesn't entitle you to success. Hard work, that's the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you come from. It doesn't care what your last name is. It rewards the one who refuses to quit. So when you walk into a room, don't look around and compare yourself to everybody else. Don't count who's faster, stronger, smarter. Just know this, nobody in that room will outwork you. Nobody. You're going to give more, stay longer, push harder, because that's what winners do. They don't depend on natural gifts. They build strength from the grind. They don't wait for opportunities. They prepare so fiercely that opportunities chase them down. When you live like that, when your work ethic becomes your identity, that's when life changes. Because success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the one who wants it most. Everybody wants to be great until they realize greatness is boring. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. It's not filled with applause and cameras. Greatness is hidden in the routine. The same grind, the same habits, the same sacrifices over and over again. That's why most people don't make it. They're motivated for a moment, but discipline is what carries you when motivation dies. And make no mistake, it will die. Motivation fades. The question is, when it does, will you still show up? See, discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doors. Anyone can say they want it, anyone can start strong, but very few can finish. Because finishing means showing up on the days when your body's tired, your mind's distracted, and your heart's not in it. It means putting in the work even when the results aren't showing up yet. That's real discipline. It's doing what needs to be done, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. Every single day you have two choices. You can either stay comfortable or you can grow. And if you're not choosing growth daily, then comfort is silently killing your potential. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you're committed to. That's the difference. Discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't give you permission to slack just because life got hard. It demands consistency. And when you learn to be consistent, that's when the magic happens. You have to train your mind to obey your purpose. That means waking up early when your bed feels like heaven. That means hitting the gym when your muscles ache. That means working on your dream, even after a long day at your job, because discipline doesn't take breaks. Discipline doesn't clock out. Discipline becomes a lifestyle. When you study the greats, you'll realize something. They're not always the smartest or most talented, but they're the most consistent. They don't skip days. They don't make excuses. They move like their life depends on it, because in their mind it does. Their legacy depends on what they do daily. That's how they build momentum. And momentum, once you have it, becomes unstoppable. People love to talk about success like it's luck, like it just shows up one day. But success is a reflection of your habits. Your future is being shaped by your discipline today. If you're lazy now, don't expect greatness later. If you're cutting corners now, don't expect excellence down the road. You can't plant laziness and expect success to grow. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. It's the quiet commitment to keep going, especially when no one's clapping, especially the end of the day, motivation might start the race, but only discipline will get you across the finish line. Everybody loves the idea of outworking the competition until the pain shows up. It's easy to say you want to be the best when things are smooth, when you're winning, when life feels comfortable. But when the grind hits back, when your body hurts, when your plans fall apart, when nobody believes in you, that's when we find out who's real. Because outworking everyone in the room isn't just about doing more reps, staying longer hours, or shouting louder than the next person. It's about how much pain you're willing to endure without giving up. Pain is the truth teller. It's the one thing that exposes what you're really made of. You say you want success, but can you handle the grind that comes with it? You say you want greatness, but can you endure the loneliness, the rejection, the exhaustion? Everyone wants to win, but nobody wants to suffer. The problem is, pain is part of the process. You can't escape it. You can only choose what kind of pain you're willing to live with. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You've got to learn how to stay in the game when it hurts, because pain has a purpose. It breaks you down only to build you back stronger. Every time you keep going through pain, you build endurance. Every time you choose not to quit, you grow. You become tougher, sharper, hungrier. And that's what outworking everyone really means. Not that you're stronger, but that you can suffer longer without losing your focus. You see, there's a reason why most people stop halfway. They think the struggle means something's wrong. But the truth is, struggle is the proof you're moving in the right direction. It means growth is happening. It means you're stretching past your limits. That's why the pain hurts, because you're changing. And change is never comfortable. You can't become who you're meant to be by staying who you are. The real test isn't how fast you can go when you're fresh. It's how far you can go when you're tired, when your energy is gone, when your mind says you've had enough, but your heart whispers, just one more. That's where greatness lives. That's where champions are made. You've got to be the kind of person who doesn't flinch when life hits hard. You take the punch, you reset your stance, and you keep swinging. Because here's the truth, pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Every second you push through pain, you're building something that can't be bought, can't be taught, can't be faked resilience. And once you've got resilience, there's nothing anyone can do to stop you. You'll outlast every excuse, every obstacle, every doubt. Because the one who can endure the most pain always ends up standing the tallest. Everybody talks about wanting success, but not everybody has a reason deep enough to chase it when it hurts. That's where the why comes in. Your why is the engine that keeps you moving when your motivation dies, when the world turns its back, when your body says you've got nothing left. Without a strong why, you'll quit the moment life punches you in the mouth. But when your why is powerful, when it's personal, it becomes impossible to stop you. You can't chase success just because you want money, fame, or applause. Those things fade. The moment it gets hard, they stop mattering. Your why has to come from something deeper, something that touches your soul. Maybe it's your family, maybe it's your legacy, maybe it's proving to yourself that you're more than what people said you were. Whatever it is, it has to mean something real, something that makes you get out of bed, even when everything inside you screams to stay down. When you find that reason, that fire inside you, it changes the way you move. You stop working for approval and start working with purpose. You stop running from challenges and start chasing them. Because now you're not just working hard, you're working with conviction. And conviction can't be taught. It's born out of your why. It gives your grind direction. It makes the pain worth it. There will be days when you question everything. When you ask yourself if all this effort is even worth it. When you feel like quitting because nothing's working. That's when your why has to speak louder than your excuses. You've got to remember who you're doing it for. You've got to remember the promises you made to yourself. Because if your reason isn't strong enough, you'll find a way out every time things get hard. But if your reason burns deep enough, you'll find a way through. You can't fake hunger. You can't pretend to be driven. That kind of fire only comes from purpose. When you really have a why, you stop needing motivation from the outside world. You don't need people to push you. You push yourself. You don't need validation. Your purpose validates you. You stop comparing your path to others because your journey has meaning. That's the beauty of having a why. It keeps you focused, it keeps you grounded, and it keeps you unstoppable. So don't just work hard, work with reason. Don't just chase dreams, chase meaning. Because when your why is clear, your how doesn't matter. You'll fight through exhaustion. You'll face rejection. You'll walk through fire if you have to. Nothing will break you. Because when the reason is real, the work becomes sacred. And that's when you become unstoppable. Everybody wants to shine tomorrow, but very few are willing to sacrifice today. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. They want the lifestyle, the respect, the freedom, but they don't want to give up the comfort that's holding them back. You can't have both. You can't chase your dream and your distractions at the same time. At some point, you have to decide what matters more, your comfort or your calling. Sacrifice isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every hour you give up today is an investment in the future you say you want. While everybody else is chasing temporary pleasure, you've got to be building something permanent. While they're watching TV, you're studying. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're spending, you're saving. Because greatness doesn't show up at your door, it's built in silence, brick by brick, through discipline and sacrifice. The hardest part about sacrifice is that it doesn't feel good in the moment. It feels lonely. It feels exhausting. You'll look around and see other people enjoying life, living without a care, and you'll wonder if it's worth it. But the truth is, they're living for now, you're building for forever. And that's what separates winners from everyone else. Winners play the long game. They understand that temporary discomfort builds permanent results. You've got to fall in love with the process of giving things up that no longer serve your purpose. You've got to train your mind to understand that saying isn't losing, it's focusing. When you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to destiny. Every late night, every early morning, every moment you choose the grind over comfort, that's a seed being planted. And when the time is right, those seeds will grow into opportunities that other people only dream about. Most people quit because they expect results too soon. They sacrifice for a week, a month, maybe a year, and when they don't see the payoff, they stop. But real success takes years of unseen effort. It's built when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping. The world won't understand your grind until it's time for you to shine, and by then, it'll be too late for them to catch up. That's the price you pay for greatness, patience, and persistence when everyone else gives in. So the next time you feel like giving up because it's hard, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself that the party, the sleep, the comfort you're skipping, it'll still be there. But your opportunity, that might not. Don't trade your future for temporary fun. Don't let your distractions rob your destiny. Every sacrifice you make today is a down payment on the life you've been dreaming about. Sacrifice now so you can live like nobody else later. Everybody wants to be better than the next person, but the real question is, are you better than who you were yesterday? Because that's where the real battle begins. It's easy to look around and compare yourself to others, to measure your progress by someone else's success, but that's not where greatness comes from. Greatness comes from competing with yourself every single day. It's about waking up and deciding, I'm not leaving this day until I've beaten the version of me from yesterday. That's the standard. See, the problem is most people spend their energy watching what everyone else is doing. They scroll through social media, they compare their chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, and then they wonder why they feel stuck. You're not supposed to compete with their timeline, you're supposed to dominate your own. The only person you should be chasing is you, your limits, your potential, your growth. Because if you can win that battle daily, nobody in the world can stop you. You've got to get to the point where your competition doesn't even know you exist because you're too focused on your lane. You're too busy improving your craft, sharpening your skills, building your habits. That's how you outwork everyone. Not by trying to outshine them, but by outgrowing yourself. Every morning, you should wake up with something to prove, not to the world, but to the reflection staring back at you in the mirror. The old you wants comfort. The old you wants to play it safe. The old you wants to stay the same. The new you, the version you're trying to become, demands more. And that's where the grind begins. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're beating the old you. Every time you say no to laziness, you're winning. Every time you push one step further when you could have stopped, you're proving you're evolving. That's the only competition that matters. And let me tell you something. When you get obsessed with becoming the best version of yourself, something powerful happens. You stop getting jealous of other people's success. You stop doubting your pace. You stop chasing validation because you finally realize you're running a race that only you can win. No one else has your story, your pain, your potential. You're not behind. You're just becoming. So stop wasting energy looking sideways and start looking inward. The real growth happens when you measure yourself by your progress, not by people's opinions. Every day, get a little better. Mentally, physically, spiritually. That's how you create momentum. That's how you build That's how you outwork the competition without ever needing to see them. Because the moment you master yourself, the world doesn't stand a chance. Excellence isn't something you turn on when it's convenient. It's who you are every single day. Too many people treat hard work like a switch on when they feel motivated, off when they're tired. But that's not how greatness works. The people who rise to the top don't work hard only when the mood is right. They work hard because excellence has become their identity. They don't need a reason to give their best. They give their best because that's just what they do. You've got to make excellence your standard, not your option. When you do something, do it like your name is on the line, because it is. Your effort speaks for you long before your results ever do. Every small decision, every small action, it all builds the reputation of who you are. That's why excellence has to become your lifestyle. It has to show up in how you talk, how you move, how you handle the little things when nobody's watching. Because the truth is, if you cut corners in private, you'll crumble in public. Most people don't fail because they're not talented enough. They fail because they're inconsistent. They do it right once, maybe twice, but then they slip. They let their emotions control their output. One day they're on fire, the next day they're lazy. But champions don't move based on emotions, they move based on standards. They don't wait to feel like it, they do it until it feels normal. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Consistency. If you only give effort when you're motivated, you'll never build momentum, because motivation fades, but habits stick. Excellence is built through repetition, through those countless unseen hours where you keep showing up and giving your all, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when nobody says thank you. That's what separates the few who make it from the many who wish they did. You've got to demand more from yourself, even when no one else does. You've got to hold yourself accountable to a higher level, even when people around you settle for average. Excellence doesn't mean you never fail. It means when you do, you don't stay down. You fix it, you learn, and you come back stronger. You keep showing up until doing it right becomes your default setting. That's when success starts chasing you instead of the other way around. Because the truth is, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. If you've made excellence a lifestyle, you'll always be ready. You'll always deliver. The world doesn't reward sometimes. It rewards the ones who bring it every single time. So don't just do your best when it's easy. Do your best until it becomes who you are. When you're chasing greatness, it's easy to get lost in the grind. You start out hungry, full of passion, driven by purpose, but somewhere along the way, the pressure, the competition, and the chaos start to drown out your original reason for starting. That's why you've got to remind yourself what this is really about. Outworking everyone isn't just about being first or being seen. It's about fulfilling the purpose that made you start in the first place. Because if you lose your why while chasing the win, you'll end up successful but empty. The grind can consume you if you're not careful. You start working so hard to prove something to the world that you forget what you were trying to build for yourself. You forget the people you wanted to help, the values that grounded you, the peace you promised to protect. The goal isn't to work yourself into exhaustion. The goal is to build a life that means something. The hustle should elevate you, not drain you. You've got to learn how to stay humble while you're climbing. You've got to remember that success doesn't make you better than others. It gives you a responsibility to lift others higher. The grind isn't about ego, it's about excellence. It's about showing up with purpose every day, knowing that your work means something beyond just your name or your paycheck. Because if it's only about you, it won't last, the fire will fade. But if it's about something bigger, that fire will never die. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is slow down long enough to remember why you started. Reconnect with your purpose. Remind yourself that every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every setback, it's not just to say you worked harder than everyone else. It's to become the person you were created to be. That's the real reward. That's the real victory. You've got to be intentional with your energy. Don't just chase everything that looks like success. Not every opportunity is aligned with your calling. Not every win is worth the cost of your peace. Protect your purpose. Protect your heart. Because once you lose that inner balance, all the hard work in the world won't fill the emptiness that follows. When you finally reach the top, make sure you can look in the mirror and still recognize the person staring back. Don't become so focused on outworking everyone that you forget what you were working for. The grind should build you, not break you. It should make you grateful, not greedy. It should make you proud, not prideful. Because at the end of it all, true success isn't about being the best in the room. It's about becoming the yourself without ever losing